Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Today I'm talking about Tarkov in 2026. There was a Tarkov TV recently and a lot of good points were brought up. And so I'm going to go through most of the things in that Tarkov TV because I'm a little late to the party to do a straight review and give more of my thought on a lot of these things. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. Now, Tarkov TV was around like the 29th of December, just before New Year's, and I wrote a heap of notes from it. I was going to do a review video, but I was kind of in my holiday period and I'm only back at work now. So instead of just doing a straight review, like I said, I'm going to do more in depth of my own thoughts, add it into it. Now, there's a lot of codes for Escape from Tarkov right now. I'll put them down in the description. Hopefully some of them still work. Also, make sure you go to the Escape from Tarkov website and claim your gift in the gift section. So go to escapefromtarkov.com, log in, click on gifts, and then you can claim your gift from there. They used to do New Year's gifts or Christmas gifts every year, and it was claimable like every wipe for that year, as many times as you reset your account. So that might be there for quite a while. Hopefully it is. Now, Nikita did speak briefly about like the Steam link hack. About 15 accounts were affected by that. Of those accounts, they've all been kind of fixed so far. There's no more issue with the actual the linking of Steam to your Tarkov account and it being hackable. However, the ones that were compensated have ran into a heap of issues. They pretty much just copy pasted people's account, like an account that was already made, and it's caused a heap of issues with like, you know, people who bought extra stash lines and all that. None of that stuff's there. So I don't know. I'm just reiterating what I've been reading from Twitter itself. Now, there's been a lot of people been playing Escape from Tarkov since the release. Apparently 19,000 years of play time. And Nikita did briefly talk about doing some sort of Tarkov convention in 2026 or in the future. He likes to do more of the in-person stuff. So they went to like the Korean game show, Tokyo game show, Paris game show, and maybe one in America, like PAX West or PAX East maybe. So yeah, or PAX South. It was one of the American ones they went to. And they do like doing those in-person events. He says he likes to see people, and he did talk about doing a TarkCon event. And I was thinking about this. The only way I see there being a large turnout for a TarkCon event would be if they backed it off some other event. So for example, Gamescom in Germany. So they did it the weekend after that. So people that are already gone to Gamescom could be like, I'll go to Germany for a week and then go to Gamescom at the end of it. I can't see it if like, maybe it'd have a decent turnout, but like I can't see it being in the tens of thousands to actually make it like almost worthwhile. Whereas like, I think something like Path of Exile doing ExileCon, it's a little different. I think they have like a really, really large player base. They've touched a lot of people. I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical of actually doing it. Like if they do a TarkCon event, if they did it as a standalone thing, not piggybacked off another event, how well it would actually be. So, but they are thinking about doing it in 2026. They had some physical pop-up merch stores and they want to do more in the future. They pretty much always sell out instantly. I know the waifu pillows from Japan were really, really popular. Now, Nikita said they've already starting to work towards Tarkov 2.0. It's not Tarkov 2, but it's just like the major overhaul patch where they're working on like the technical side, the visual side, recovering and adding a lot of things. This is his words, not mine, and making Tarkov more modern whilst improving the technical side of the game. So I don't know if that means they're going to rewrite a large portion of the code to actually make it like fixable. An interview I did with Nikita, well, not last year, it was the year before now. So in 2024, he said the biggest thing that was an issue with Escape from Tarkov and the development of it was how much errors or things they did wrong early on. Like it might have been right at the time, but as development happened, they were locked into doing certain things because of the code that they did back in like 2016, 15, 17 era. And it made it really difficult. It makes it really difficult to optimize or make the game even better now. So big thing there, if they do actually do Tarkov like a 2 and they rewrite a lot of the code, that could be game changing for the performance side of things, the modability, all that kind of stuff. We'll have to wait and see. I would bite my tongue on that. Actually, I can't see that happening this year if I was to have a guess. I think that's like a long-term goal, couple of years away kind of goal, because I just don't think BSG move that quickly. And if they've only just got 1.0 out, I can't see them doing a full coding and visual overhaul within the next 12 months. So I'll leave it at that. As for the first quarter of 2026. So they're largely looking at stuff like bugs, fixes, technical improvements, and quality of life. That's always like a given though in game development. They should always be, no matter what dev, what game, it should always be bug fixes, technical improvements, and quality of life stuff. They're working on one big juicy event. Now, I have a bit more information about that coming up. The Steam Rich Presence integration. So my understanding of this is stuff like, when you're got Steam open for Tarkov and your friends got Steam open, it'll be like they've been in a customs raid for 9 minutes. Like it'll have that kind of information in the Steam Rich Presence. One of the big ones was reworking the Reconnect system. So if you are already in a raid and then you go to Reconnect, he wants it to be a lot more instant, not like having to spend up to a couple of minutes. This is a massive issue in Tarkov, is a lot of the loading and processes of getting the game to do stuff. I'm going to talk about that pretty much now, actually, because the next point I've got is leaving the raid being faster. Now, I want to show you an actual document. This is from, I want to say 2024 speedrun. Yeah, it would have been the 2024 speedrun. So one of my mods, he wrote down the time that we like went into the raid, like how long it took us to get back to the stash, when we pressed ready, how long to get into a raid. And this is just from when the extract screen went to black. And like, this was a speed run, by the way. So I wasn't sitting there looking at the stats and that. I was pressing next, and then getting back to the lobby. I'm talking, some of these are up in the 2-minute marks, like minute 24, a minute, minute 38, minute 39. Like these are just too much. This is horrible, to be honest. And I think it's even worse now. Particularly the 1.0, leaving a raid now multiple times is over like a couple of minutes. And then this is like pressing ready. And you can say, oh, you're playing in a fringe region. A lot of the time we were picking the most busiest 3 servers and going in 5 stacked. So for example, this raid here was a minute 35. That would have been a factory raid because there was only 2 players that had to be found. Whereas like a lot of these other ones that are longer, it would be streets. Like something like 4 minutes is streets. I know down here there's like 8 minutes. These are nearly always streets. Streets always takes the full 8 minutes to queue. Nikita has this thing where it's like, I spoke to him about it. When you're queuing up and you're matching, it's like, it forces you, if you can't fill the lobby, it's like 6 minutes or something of searching to fill the lobby before it actually just starts the raid. So if you're the first person to queue up, 6 minutes passes, and if it hasn't filled in 6 minutes, then it will start the raid. That's why you'll have like queues of up to 8 minutes. Now, they have already put in a new matching system since this run. And I do think they have made some changes to make it a little bit faster. Definitely more information, but doesn't make any sense. But overall, it's a big issue, particularly leaving the raid. At the start of 1.0, and there was like, it was almost faster when you left a raid to press Alt F4 and then open the game up again than to actually just leave the raid. But then I was worried about, do I still get XP if I Alt F4? Because if you Alt F4 and do the transit bug, you don't get XP. So I was a bit worried about doing that. But yeah, I'm confident the average time to leave a raid now is over a minute, if not 2 minutes. And I'm going to probably do another spreadsheet like this next time I do a speed run, which will probably be sometime in February. So yeah, the time to leave a raid and the reconnect system. Nikita's put a fair bit of time talking about this, and he's going to make it a lot faster and smoother. He said it was like the funniest shit. It was like straight like Donald Trump shit. Like, not that I'm not talking politics here, but it was like, yeah, we're going to work on this. We're working on this. We've already fixed this, actually. Like, it was like literally that sentence. And I'm just like, righto. So reconnect, rework, and also the leaving the raid being faster. Those things, in my opinion, massive time saver, which means it's better because you get to play the game more. Even if you're just in your lobby, it's better than sitting there waiting for like that loading wheel to leave. Reduction in memory consumption, research and development tasks into boosting performance. So they've been putting a lot more emphasis in the first quarter to actually just making the game better. New culling system to improve performance, especially on streets. So the culling, for people that don't know what culling is, and he said the word culling, but with a Russian accent, and it didn't sound like the word culling. But culling is pretty much, say you're like standing in front of a wall and you physically cannot see anything else on the other side of the wall. It makes it that everything over there behind the wall is not rendered for you. So therefore you're not using as much performance whilst behind that wall. And this is where sometimes you can be like, say inside a room indoors, say like dorms even, and you lean out and you're looking out and all the stuff in the distance is not rendered, but then you move closer to the doorway, it renders it again. And sometimes this gives you an advantage to be able to see people where places that you wouldn't be able to see them, because a lot of the stuff hasn't rendered because of that. But yeah, they're putting a new culling system in place to improve performance. And It is a big thing. It's a lot of work, but anything to improve performance. For me personally, 1.0 has been a lot better FPS wise. I can't speak for everyone else, but it's definitely better than whatever we had before at 16.9. And new foliage to modernize trees and bushes. After that, he spoke a fair bit about transparent mags. So, yep, cool. New mags being added and new tutorial for the Tarkov main game. I thought this was, I don't know what he was waffling about here, but sure, whatever. And then the lens reflections. Now, this stuff annoys me. So, the lens reflection is, and there'll be examples on the screen, but it's effectively when you're looking at a sight, there's two views of this. One, when you're not aiming down your sight, it's kind of got that like glass kind of like reflection. You can kind of see what's going on around you because it's like the bouncing of the light. That's what it pretty much means. And they want it to stop being from just black to something else. Fair, I can understand that. But then when you ADS, it's kind of like they want to make it so there's like this glass like light reflection around the edge of it. This kind of stuff, like, sure, it could probably add to immersion. I don't like it. I think this is like, we've already got so many things that are like handicapping us from being able to like be effective on stuff. Personally, have a look at it, see what you think. I think it's a waste of time. Personally, I don't like it. So yeah, big first full-scale event is the Icebreaker. It's going to be a totally separate event and quest. Nikita has really leaning into the PvE side of Tarkov now. And when I say PvE, it's storyline quests that give you access to a map that is solo and PvE. So Icebreaker is going to be a PvE style map, same as Terminal, where you go in there after doing a big quest line, dungeon style like the Labyrinth, and then you've got to do something on this Icebreaker. It's a big ship, effectively. And it's just a whole story thing with a new game mode, whatever that means. Now for Q2 and 3, so this is like from pretty much April all the way to like September. 2 big story task lines are going to be added. One of them is called Big Head, which is going to have a whole new location at the end of the quest line. Lady of the Heart, which is one of the other major quest lines. Further development of single-player raids. They want to add magazine loading animations, spawn animations, peaceful AI behaviors, hideout animations, interactive map animations, and new weapon gear customization quests. So, bit of a waffle here. Magazine loading, I don't think it's even needed. I literally would just like it if I could just see when, like, if it had a little loading wheel and you could actually just look around while you're loading a mag. That would be huge. You don't even need to put any more effort into it. Some people will get super excited over this thing, but it's like cool. But if it's going to take someone a lot of work, yeah, it's me. It's just how I see things. I just want to be able to look around and not be in an actual inventory when I'm reloading my mags. Not overly sure what he's talking about with spawn animations, peaceful AI behavior, but the hideout animations. Now, when you go back to your lobby and then you press hideout, sometimes, if I'm on my laptop, it takes about 30 seconds to open. Laptop's pretty decent laptop, but it's not insane. My main PC takes like 15 seconds. I don't need have extra hideout animations that's going to like chew up more time of me trying to click stuff in there. I actually kind of wish the hideout had 2 options where you can have it like the big free look that, you know, you can click around all the stuff, or you could just have it as like a table and I could just go click, 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 like down all the things I want to do. Because just changing crafts after an end of a raid kind of feels tedious to me. And I hope with the performance upgrades that they do, some of this stuff could actually be cleaned up. Interactive map animations. For me, what I would love to see is you actually, and this, I don't think this is going to happen, but if they did, this would be so insane. You can actually have the maps in Tarkov like kind of permanently saved, and you could draw on them and it's saved to your profile. So you could be like, hey, this is like a really good spot for loot. This is a really good spot for a quest, or I'm looking for LEDXs. These are the 7 LEDX spawns on the map, and it's saved to your profile. So then you load up your interchange map when you're in the raid, and like you can see the X's on the map where you want to loot for the LEDXs, so you don't forget. I don't know. Something like cool with that. I don't know what exactly they mean by the interactive map animations, but I'm hoping they go down the path of that. So yeah. Now, I would say also with this, with Q2, 3, treat everything that post the first quarter with a grain of salt. Sometimes stuff gets pushed all the way out to 6, 12, 18 months from now, and then sometimes it's like it happens. So it's got to wait and see. Now for Q3, 4. So updated post-processing and the VFX mechanics. Nikita himself didn't even know what this meant. He was reading it off his script and he's like, oh, I did. Yep. So we'll see how we go. There's going to be a large Halloween event with zombies. Now, personally, I love the zombie event, and some huge zombie event would be like even cooler. I actually liked how they tried to make it like a real world thing where it was like spreading throughout the maps. The pistol zombies obviously were very frustrating, getting random throated and headshot. from a zombie with a Makarov. They were way too accurate, but overall, the zombie event was really cool. It made people play the game very differently and even thinking about the game in a different way. So people using flesh ammo instead of, high pen ammo. And even since then, I've actually felt like there's been times where I thought flesh ammo has been better to use just because, so many people are running gear these days. You could go leg metal with like Quakemaker or Ultra Nozzler or something because it's just so strong. Now, this is probably the one big thing that I'm really not excited for, which is knockdowns from explosions and kinetic energy. So this means if you get a grenade that goes off near you, you might fall over and you'll have to like regain consciousness. And he said this, even said that it was about, you may even go unconscious for a period of time. Blows a propane tank off near you, then, you would be laying on the ground after that and they could run up and kill you. So like, I don't like this at all. I don't know. Maybe people like having more ways to die, but it just sounds frustrating. It sounds like more ways for people to like for example, an example would be in customs, you could put a tripwire down near the door. So even if they run through the door and get past the grenade could blow up the propane tank. And the propane tank could make enough explosion to knock you down. Like stuff like that. We'll wait and see. But yeah, if they do add unconscious system to the game and your squad members can revive you from that, it's already skewed in squad play. I'm hopeful that it's balanced, but I don't think it will be. Now, another cool thing that he spoke about was ability to fly drones and drop off items. He said it's more of like a package drop than dropping a bomb on someone from across the map. But yeah, he said effectively that you're going to be able to call in your own airdrops from drones. So another thing, wait and see. Radioactive events, so having an actual purpose for the radiations and the temperature signs on your profile. And he said he wants to migrate the game servers over from whatever they're on right now to a Linux platforms to increase performance and startup times. That's happening in Q3 and 4. Then at the very end of the year will be the launch of the second season, which will be the Scav Life DLC as well. So what is the Scav Life DLC? And I'll talk about the seasonal stuff very shortly. But the Scav Life DLC is a full Scav profile as a separate character. It'll have progression, customization, unique quest, unique secure container, achievement, dedicated hideout zones, dedicated extracts, new mechanics, new characters. You can play as Scav bosses, and there'll be new Scav bosses. Unique in-game quests for the Scav bosses as you're playing as the Scav boss. And then a social zone to meet with your Scav friends where you could play like poker or something like that. So that's going to be the first official DLC. So if you bought Unheard or Edge of Darkness Edition, this is the very first thing that you will get for free. So that is what Nikita determines as a DLC, and that will happen at the end of 2026. This is something I've actually been looking forward to for a long time. I always thought it'd be really cool if the Scav profile had more to it than just how you do a Scav run on your downtime. And Nikita's going to deliver, hopefully, with all this information that he's just given us. So personally, this will probably be the thing to look forward to in 2026. I think a lot more people will be Scav running, and there'll be a lot more cool stuff going on with that. And then hopefully lead to a lot more new experiences. So the cool thing about Tarkov as a whole as a video game, every time you queue up, you kind of don't really know what's going to happen. You're going to deploy, you're going to try to extract, and you probably die along the way. But everything that happens in between is kind of RNG. And I think this Scav Life thing will add a whole new element to that. Could, have posses of Scavs running around together, and people, as they're playing as the Scav boss, I think it's just going to be an interesting dynamic added to the game. And should be really cool. Probably the biggest concerns I see at the moment is how many people will go over to playing the Scav Life DLC, and then there'll be less people in raid as PMCs to the point where there's so many people queuing up for Scavs that the Scav times go to crazy. There's some constraints that they need to work out for that, but we'll have to wait and see. Now over to the seasonal system. So it's going to be a whole new subsystem added to the games. And he referenced this a few times, but it's going to be something around battle passes. I'll might as well touch on this now. They're probably going to add battle passes to the main game as well because they're making money. The battle pass on Arena right now is free, and then they added a side bonus part to the battle pass that you could pay for. I'm just going to go and say it. I think it's a crock of shit that anyone who has EOD or Unheard has to pay for that. Because it's there's two quoted messages from Nikita in the past. One saying that if you had EOD, you'd never have to spend any more money on Tarkov. And two, that will never be microtransactions added to Escape from Tarkov. Now, both are completely crock of shit, but I just think, support the players that have already put a lot of money into your video game. Particularly Unheard is 250 USD or Euro. EOD is 140 or 150 when it finally left. That's a lot of money from a person that plays your video game. And they've also gone and said that it's sold 1 million copies since 1.0. So they've done very well. They've done very well for themselves. And I don't know, I feel like it's I don't know the correct terminology. It's like bleeding every single person dry. So I do understand they want to make money moving into the future, and you know, but there's already a lot of ways added to the game. Keep your player base happy and make the Battle Pass free, Nikita. That's how I see it. Anyway, Battle Pass added, or seasonal system with the Battle Pass system added to it, and it'll be only on PvP. It'll be a fresh progress with unique balance changes, gameplay modifiers for each season, exclusive rewards. Each season will be themed as a totally separate character. It'll be wiped, and there'll be two wipes per year. And when you start your seasonal character, you'll select perks and debuffs. So this is kind of like, I haven't played Baldur's Gate, but I assume it's something like Baldur's Gate, where you pick like, I'm going to be better at lockpicking, but suck at hydration. You know, it's going to be stuff like that. You could pick stuff like starting with no secure container, or you can't use a secure container. You know, additional hardcore features like you can't have insurance, but you'll get more positive benefits from doing this. So Nikita hasn't, he kind of used those as references, but I do actually like that system. It gives you a little bit more customization to how you play, and it means you can do like more self-imposed hardcore rule sets. But yeah, the seasonal subsystem thing sounds really cool. My biggest concern about this one is separating the player base from being, you know, you're going to have the normal PvP that doesn't wipe. You'll have the seasonal league, and then you'll have people playing PvE. And yeah. And then also the unique Battle Pass unlocks that you can transfer to your main account will work for both PvP and PvE. And the season will be obviously, like I said before, PvP only. So big thing there. I could make a whole video just on my thoughts on this and how it should all work. But overall, it sounds cool. My biggest concern is now separating the player base another time. And if it goes well, people will play the game for a very long time. I just got this feeling that the main account will probably go to the back burner and no one will ever play it, and the raids will be very, very empty. That's kind of how I see it. Have to wait to see. He did say that the character will be free though. You'll be able to do the seasonal thing for free. Now, Prestige for PvE is planned, and it's going to be a separate kind of Prestige system to the PvP one. So there's going to be separate unlocks and rewards for the PvE side of things. As for Arena, I'll touch very briefly on Arena, but really interesting and special game mode coming. I'm assuming it's something to do with the Horde mode PvE style that they spoke about a long time ago. There'll be new battle passes and tactical maps. Paint will be coming over to Escape from Tarkov, the main game, and PvE modes for Arena will be coming as well, which is kind of like, I think it's that Horde mode. He was kind of like hyping up like, oh, we've got this cool game mode that no one's ever seen before. And then he goes, yeah, PvE modes are coming for Arena too. So it could be something different to that, but I'm under the impression that it's going to be the Horde mode. In Q2 of also the 2026, he wants to make it that you can actually queue multiple matches without having to leave. So you'll have, say you do a last hero, it'll just automatically put you into the next last hero with the same people that you're in. And then in Q3, so that's July to September, they want to launch Arena 1.0. So that is what they've got planned for this year so far. So I tried to make it a little bit less of the, like, just the raw facts, a bit more of my opinions on things. I am very worried about some of the things coming in this year. I really wish the main focus was getting people to be able to play raids faster, in and out, the queue systems, the loading systems, all that stuff, which is what they're working on in the Q1. If they could solve that, I think player retention from all the new players that they've got since 1.0 will actually go up. If you queue up to a raid and then back out instantly, I timed it. It was over a minute to get back to the main menu. If you queue up in Arc Raiders and go, oh, wait a second, I just forgot to bring an item, cancel the queue. It's instant. You go get the item and you queue up again. I don't understand how it takes another minute to go back to the lobby. Like, that stuff is very agitating to me. I have not made a video game before. At least not yet. But I'm going to learn why that happens, and it just baffles me. I can't understand it. I'm assuming it's something to do with the time it takes for them to send information over to the main servers that they use, and then the servers have to communicate stuff back and authenticate stuff that says, yep, okay, we're ready to go back out of the raid. All right, we're leaving the raid. Now we're going to load the main menu. We're loading the main menu. Now we're back to the main menu. We're going to confirm that everything in your stash is in your stash, and then we're going to... And I think it's got something to do with that, because if it was just based off the, like, your own personal, like, computer, I don't think that would be the issue. It's something to do with the internet. So, and the servers. But maybe something moving over from the whatever server system they use. I'm assuming Windows, and they move the game servers over to Linux. It's going to make a big difference. So anyway, let me know what you think about me waffling on about this kind of stuff, and instead of just doing the short and nasties of it. There's probably multiple videos I can make about specific points inside this with good examples, and I'll probably try and work on stuff for that in the future. I'm going to start working on my guides in the mornings now, but I wanted to get this video out because I hadn't done anything talking about what's coming in 2026, but now at least we have a decent roadmap per se. So I think BSG are going to work on releasing a roadmap. So anyway, that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell. I stream on Twitch pretty much every day of the week. I'm back from my holidays, so going crazy with streams, getting the hardcore series filmed, and then I'll be working back on my main account, getting ready to Prestige, and we're going to be doing another Prestige speed run, Kappa speed run at some point as well. So lastly, guys, I'll see you next time.